What's up, everybody? It's your boy Burst CG back here, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a talk about Jedi Fallen Order, the whole game, everything about it, and my opinions, and just how much I enjoyed it. So, I want to get into mostly the aspect of the gameplay. Um, in the beginning, I did want to actually do a playthrough of the game, but I noticed the way that it's fleshed out is more like you want to just dive into it with no, you know, breaks. You want to keep like just going in story, and you don't want to you know, do different things story wise at least because there's a lot of things you have to do exploring wise, and I don't know how well you would like to see that fleshed out in a video, to be honest. But anyways, I decided to go on more of the gameplay route and just play the game for myself. But there were things along the way that kind of, you know, bothered me, I would say, about the game. And the story was perfectly fine, but when I started playing through the first mission, which is where you go to that little temple or whatever in the first on the first planet, and you're supposed to find out about Cordova and all this stuff. And before I say anything, because I don't know if you're watching this video without playing the game or what, but there are going to be some spoilers in here for the story of this game at least. I'm not going to get into like details about the lore and whatnot, but precaution. Anyways, yeah, so when you're on that planet, basically you're going there to learn about Cordova and whatnot and meet these other people so you can understand what's going on. But along the way, you'll start noticing how the gameplay mechanics feel when you start fighting, I guess, creatures and stuff and whatnot. And for the most part of the game, I mean, you will be fighting mostly just creatures and some stormtroopers and then the bosses whenever you do run into those. But yeah, so I started getting into it, and they're just I don't know what it is, but there's just been a lot of like glitches. Like I'll put some on here right now so you can see. But yeah, bugs like that is what I most commonly ran into. Mostly just the one where you get stuck in certain places, but there's also I don't think it's my PS4 that's causing the problem, but I kept getting errors and the game kept like randomly kicking me out for some reason, at least 2 or 3 times. And I caused like a little bit of a problem for me because I don't meditate as often in this game just because I feel like once you meditate it says that all of your enemies get like respawned like right then and there. So you kill your enemies first, then you go to meditate, like they respawn right there. So I mean it's good for skill points and whatnot. I don't think I completed the whole skill tree by the end of the game. I had most of what I needed though to play it at least. I don't know if they'll do a new game plus or if there is a new game plus on here. I haven't checked, but yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much what I ran into, and I would recommend always trying to meditate when you can though, just so that won't happen because you will have to restart the mission all over. Uh, I had that happen to me on Planet Zepho for like the first 15 to 20 minutes, and I had to actually start the whole thing over. So that means I had to go get all the chests back, all that stuff, and it takes time to do it, and you don't want to do it over and over and over. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna start getting to the aspect of just what I think about the story.
What's this? A Brocca scrap rat playing Jedi. I know the show your face here again, especially after we wiped out that feeble resistance. Love it when I'm wrong.
All jokes aside, though, the story mode of this game actually was really great. I think it was really fleshed out in a way for people that are not so deep into the lore of Star Wars can understand. Even people who just really know everything about like the lore of Star Wars will probably love. For me personally, playing through the beginning and ending of the game, I was going into it really cold, not knowing anything, didn't know what type of characters I would see. I have watched the original trilogy, the prequels, and I hate to admit it, sometimes the new trilogy that's happening is not the best, but it's all right. and I watched like a little bit of like the animated series that they had on like Disney XD and whatnot. But right now, from what I gathered through the story is, mostly just about them trying to, they want to restart the Jedi Order, and they're gonna do so by trying to raise like another generation of Jedi into doing that. But as you progress through the story, you'll notice more and more how both the Empire and Cal's team, they want to get to that goal. But in the end, I mean, again, spoiler alert, uh, it won't happen because Cal is going to run into a situation where he realizes that by doing this, by going and get those children, he's going to put their lives at risk. And honestly, that's like a really big deal because he's taking those children from their homes, their families that they're at right now, and he's putting them in the situation where they have no idea what the outcome is. And you get a premonition, like, I don't know if it's a premonition or just a vision of something that could happen like that, even to where Cal will potentially turn into some form of an inquisitor or just go to the dark side completely. You see that in a vision, and it's actually pretty interesting because it's one of those things like how right now, in what is it called, the Rise of Skywalker, there's a part in the trailer where Rey looks like she's on the dark side. I think it's something similar to that, like seeing the parallel, compare and contrast of what would happen if you do this, what would your actions lead to, type of thing. And when you do go throughout the story, going to visit these different planets, you do meet these different people. For me, when I went to was Dathomir and seeing this other dude, was it Malicos or something like that, previous Jedi that was part of pretty famous, around, well known, and now he's just out there seeking power and basically dominion over people. And he pretty much forced these people on this planet to teach their magic to him and whatnot. So they had to do it because they wanted revenge, and he pretty much just spat out lies and stuff about Jedi and whatnot. And so it kind of led the Night Sisters and Night Brothers to believe. Well, the Night Brothers followed through Malicos, but the Night Sisters, they believe that the Jedi and people are all the cause of their problems and whatnot. And when Cal comes, he changes the perspective of her, her mind, thinking of what will happen and whatnot. And also throughout the story, you're going to see backstories about uh, Cal and a little bit of Seer. Seer is really interesting, I guess, because more about the fact that she did lie in the beginning about being force sensitive. She's obviously part of the force. She still has her abilities, but she left out the fact purposely that she's more so on the dark side, like she's tapping into that power. When she was captured, she escaped by using that power, and she basically killed everybody in there except the Inquisitor, which is actually her Padawan, Trilla. And you only get to see two of the sisters. I was the second sister. Wait, hold on. Yeah, there's a ninth sister that shows up, and the second sister, which is Trilla. And the other sister is that big person that I thought was a dude the first time I started playing, because I mean, like, they don't immediately make it aware that like she's a woman until you like hear her voice like from her. Like, you can't see it. I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that conversation. But yeah, those are only two people like really that throughout the story you really see as main villains. And then I think you fight Malicos as another Jedi, and most of the other things that you fight is like creatures. Like, you fight a big bat. Like, that shit was crazy. And then you fight other little things throughout the story, but it's more so like the journey of going to go do these things that like makes the story, honestly. And in the end, I mean, you get to see like a really big reveal of a character that I didn't think would make an appearance in this game, but honestly, seeing like that character pop up, it really like put into perspective, like, wow, okay, this is the fact that they even bothered to put him in here. Like, I'm not sure if they put it in as fan service or whatnot, but I mean, showing like how, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just cool to see him in the game. And I mean, he wasn't even like the main character, like the main antagonist or anything, which is really cool because the whole game you're not really worried about seeing people like Darth Vader or Darth Sidious or any other people like that. This is all like a simple way to follow, and it's really good that they did that, because seeing like a whole bunch of extra stuff that probably will confuse you is not really good for new people, at least. And for me, one thing that I was surprised about is, even, I mean, it's a Star Wars game and they want people to understand what they're talking about. I don't know, the use of the jargon that they have for the terms like that aliens at least would speak, like different people from different planets. I don't know, I'd expect it to be a little bit more different than like human terms, and I guess maybe that's just a pet peeve. But yeah, anyways, generally I think this game did really well. I think the story is really well. I think that this game could potentially set up for a second game, maybe not with the same character, but with the same dynamic, following these stories, like what happens when all these, well, like other survivors and stuff like that. Because seeing just this one at least was really good. You know, and like I said, I'm not sure if this is a canon story or not, but even if it isn't, it could turn into one, and they start doing games like this, because I think this is probably one of the great games that could be ever made. Even if it had better gameplay mechanics, it could be like a game of the year if it had better gameplay mechanics, and probably more things to explore. Like if they continued expanding it and did some more stuff, that would be cool too. But I don't think that they will, because it's a single player game. I don't think they need to. But yeah, like I said, I think this game definitely has a future to have more, sequels, trilogies, and stuff like that that continue on with different characters in these types of scenarios throughout the gap of the original 6 movies, and maybe even onward. And maybe they could skip and go, I don't know, in the new trilogy that they have, like somewhere in there, or even do some of the old prequels. I don't know. It definitely is like in the air for any of those, but like I said, this game was really enjoyable. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10 for me, at least. Gameplay wise, like you heard in the beginning, it could have used some work, but I think they put out a pretty good game, and I think other people would agree. If you agree, let me know down in the comments, and let me know your favorite thing that you enjoyed about the game, your favorite customization aspect of it. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.